各位观众朋友，大家好，我是严克印，非常谢谢大家来收看我们音乐世界的节目。今天呢，我们要请教的是美国北伊利诺州立大学 NIU 的音乐系的声乐的主任 Myron Myers 教授。我最主要先请教他在音乐上面的一些学习的一些过程。因为我知道他花了非常多的时间，他是非常专业的一个 classical musician， 他在这方面的 training， 据他所说的是，现在可能年轻的孩子们不一定能够接受的，也不一定愿意去做的。所以我今天想请教他，让他稍微自我介绍一下，就是在他音乐的学习的过程上，他是怎么样的一个学习，他有怎么样的 degree。还有他是怎么样走了这么长一段路，能够把这些好东西再留给我们这些学生们。So Myron, I just tell the audience, I say you spend so much time in music and you are classical trained vocalist. So can you just tell us about yourself?
Yes. Where do you want me to start?
Like when you were young, why do you want to be a musician first? And also, I think you can play piano also.
Well, I sat down at 4 and started at 4 years of age and picked out a melody on the piano. And my godfather was a musician, and he said, you have to train him. To my father, and my father said, I don't want a musician in the family.
You play by ear?
By ear, always. And then I had some very good teachers for piano. And that's what I was going to do. I was going to be a pianist. And then I got to be about 16 and I thought it was boring. I didn't want to play Beethoven and I started wanting to play jazz. And so I did. And that got to be boring really fast because I took an audition for a jazz club and I thought I was going to play in a jazz club. And I went in and they were all smoking cigarettes and drinking a lot of booze. And I thought, I don't want that. So I went back to classical music and I heard, when I was quite young, I heard some operatic singers. And I thought, how can they do that?
Yes.
So I started, just by accident, I met somebody who was a voice teacher and he said, well, come and audition for me. And I did, and he said, you've got a great voice, let's train it. And so that's how it began. I was 19.
So you went to the university in California? Or?
No, this was in Seattle.
Oh, Seattle! You have been in Seattle?
I was born near Seattle.
I have been there 2 years.
Oh.
Before I came to Chicago.
Oh, I love it there. Anyway, that was all the undergraduate experience in piano, and then I took voice. And then I auditioned in my senior year for the Seattle Opera Chorus, a paid job, and I got in. So then the first job was Turandot Puccini with the great singer Birgit Nilsson, who came to sing, and I was like, how does this work? So that was my early training. Then I got into the University of Southern California in Los Angeles. I stayed in the Los Angeles area for 10 years after I got my degree, and sang everything. I sang in Roger Wagner's chorus. I was on tour. I sang in the studios. I sang early music. I sang romantic music. I sang whatever they offered me to sing. I sang. And then in 1979. I got the opportunity to go study with a teacher in London.
Oh, London first.
In London.
Because I thought you went to...
I did go to Germany before that.
Oh, before that.
To take a master course from great German singers like Hans Hotter and others. But in 1979 and 1980 I went to London, and that's where I got the best instruction because that teacher, if you go back about 100 years, her teachers studied with all the way back to Garcia, the great teacher, and Lamperti, the other great teacher in the 19th century. And so all that information came to me in a year.
So do you think actually you are probably a little bit European trained singer?
I am.
Yeah. Very classical.
Very.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is why I like you. I think you got it.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. So, and then you stayed there for 2 years or?
I was back and forth there for a couple of years and went back in '88 to take some more lessons. And that was the formative. And I've written a paper about it too, about what her training means and what the muscle stuff is and all that. But then I moved here in 1980, and
Already here?
already here.
Oh,
31 years.
wow.
Yeah. Anyway, then I started singing in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
I got an agent in New York,
Mm-hmm.
and then I was back and forth between New York and Chicago an awful lot for almost 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so then that's how that went.
Okay, so actually， 我现在就是还要想再请问他一个问题，因为我去年吧，还是今年初，就是中国有一个非常有名的一个男中音，他也是在欧洲学了非常久，而且在欧洲的歌剧院驻唱了10多年，叫做孙宇。Myron 事实上也认识他。因为孙宇他是经过这么漫长的一个学习，然后也得到了世界大奖，但是一路走过来非常的辛苦，有的时候他也不禁就是埋怨，他曾经说过，如果有 next life， 他不要再当一个 classical singer。所以我只是想就是说就这个问题来问问看Myers 教授，那他在这么长的一个学习里面，他到底有没有后悔过？还是呢，他觉得这就是他等于说是他的 life， 他必须要做这件事，他真的是 enjoy be a singer， 所以我就想要就这个问题请教一下他。So Myron, I just talk about 孙宇，because 孙宇 feel regret, to be a classical singer. But I think sometimes we always, especially classical training, is very tough. So we struggle with this. So did you ever feel you don't want to do this?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Almost every time I had to audition for somebody, I thought, why am I doing this? Terrible. But in the performances, never. Always 5 minutes before you could walk on the stage, you think, why? But then on the stage, in the performance, I always knew why I was there. And so that was the joy of it. It wasn't always beautifully well paid. I had to keep this job in order for me to do that. I mean, that's the reality of what happens with most people. I wasn't a tenor, I didn't sing high notes. And so the lower voices, they say, that's nice.
So what do you think is just because you had the joy, or probably the audience give you the compliment and support you, or you really feel this is your mission in your life?
It was my calling. I couldn't do anything else. I wanted to do it, and so I found ways to do it.
Yeah. 所以其实我想大部分的所谓的古典音乐家，我们都有同样的一个感觉。孙宇也是说这是他的 mission。我也觉得这是我的 mission， 就像刚才Myron 也说，这也是他觉得是一个 calling。所以说，我现在最后呢，我就想请教他，是不是能给我们这些年轻的音乐家一些建议，让我们如何能够坚持过来。So Myron, now in the end, I want to just ask you, see if you can give young artists, musicians, suggestions, just let them really understand they should really conquer all the difficulties. Or what do you think they can really always make themselves to do it, to pursue the career in music? Doesn't matter education or performance.
Yeah.
So what do you want to say?
I say you have to follow what you're drawn to musically. In other words, somebody will say, you should sing Puccini, or you should sing Wagner, or you should sing Bellini, or whatever. Everybody's got an opinion. But you have to feel what you're drawn to. If it's Schubert, or Wolf, or Brahms, or whatever, that is what guides you, I think, what you love.
Wow, right.
And if that's what you love, and that's what you perform beautifully, then that's what gets you the career. It's not somebody saying, you should do that, you should do that. That's outside, that doesn't matter. It's what you feel.
Yes.
And so then your voice will work in that repertoire beautifully, and then people say, yeah, I want to hire you to sing that.
Yeah, I think exactly right, because I think after all this training, we need to ask, ourselves, what do I want to do?
Yes.
What I can do the best?
Yes.
I think this is the goal.
And you can't do everything beautifully.
Exactly.
Mhm.
There is所以呢，我觉得每个人都不一样。我并不是很赞成一个 competition, like you compete with someone. I always think God give you your talent. You just need to bring the joy to people. I think probably 这也是我们做古典音乐家，我们真正对我们自己所说的。我们并不是一定要成名，或是有怎么样的物质上享受，但是我们希望我们不要浪费上天给我们的所谓的才能、财富。所以今天我们的采访就到这。Thank you.
Thank you.